Guys, been a while again. Haven't had a deck that was worth showing, or a deck worth playing. Really, I was getting kind of bored with the format, and there wasn't anything that was really worth playing for me. I suppose I was looking for stuff, but there wasn't a combo deck out there that I wanted to play until. Hoban was playing Sylvans, but once, I don't know if Girlando played him first. I think he did. And then I knew Sylvans was, once you see someone play it, and you see, it's kind of what feels like Rulers, kind of again. It's really combo, and you're playing with essentially the top, 3 cards of your deck, your graveyard, and your hand, and your field. So if you play Sylvans, or if you watched ARG, you can see how long the turns can take, and it's just because you're managing so many things, and you can make incredibly strong plays if you manage everything correctly. And it has great advantage. If you can grind, if your opponent lets you grind with them, you're pretty much guaranteed to win, because they have to have a response to every soul charge, to every miracle fertilizer. If they don't respond one turn, then they're behind. If they can't finish your field that you soul charged, or if they can't kill the miracle fertilizer, then pretty much you win the game. Because then you +1 again, then you make a Felgrand with that one, or Heliopolis, whatever, and then it's just sitting there. It's going to get you the plus next turn, and they have to deal with the threat that they have to deal with because you were able to get 2 cards out of it. So the advantage that it creates is great, and it's a combo deck. It's a combo deck that's still a grind deck, and it interacts with your opponent, which are what all the decks that I'm looking for to play do. So at my locals, if you watched a video a while ago, I was complaining about how I couldn't play mechas anymore, because literally my entire locals was Lightsworn. Well, maybe 3/4 of it, and that's a horrible matchup because the deck is so fast, and that's still a problem that I was having playing Sylvans there. That's the only deck, I didn't have to play Lightsworn this past Sunday, and I played 4 matches and I won all 4, I think 2-0. Because Lightsworn is, you literally have to set up the Vanity's Lock by turn 2 in order to beat a Lightsworn player, because they're either, unless they brick. If they brick, then you're okay, but the odds of that happening appear to be, I don't know, people say it happens a lot, but from what I've been saying is they just draw really lucky, or they just get great mills, and when they just have JDs available, if you're not able to Vanity's Lock them that turn, when they drop the JD, then they're OTKing you, and there's not any defense in this deck, and you can't play any defense in order for it to work. So then what I responded to it was just trying to make everything as fast as possible. I don't know that this is truly viable, but it solves. Well, we can go over the deck profile, and I can explain what the theory is behind it. So playing that's standard 6, the standard Lone Fires, 2 mushrooms. I was playing 3 at one point, but this deck is emphasizing speed, and I would agree with Hoban here at the beginning when Hoban said, you don't really want to draw any of them except for the big guys, and you don't really even want to draw the big guys. You just want to have them in the graveyard to use with. Basically, this deck should just be called not Sylvans, but more just Fertilizer and Soul Charge. That's how you win. It's Fertilizer and Soul Charge, and Princess Sprout. That's how you win. And Hermitry is the main way to get there, because you get to draw that card, which gets you to your next Fertilizer, your next Soul Charge. But these little guys, the Co-Mushroom and the Marshall Leaf, they can solve problems. You can kill Skill Drain with this, or Skill Drain, by using the field spell. So it's important to have, I think, 2 of them. Maybe if you want to go faster, cut 1 out. But setting 1 is almost like opening up a brick hand. Pretty much. 2 Sprout. Sprout's really good. I think it's a if you cut the Spore, maybe play the 3rd, but there's almost no reason to play the 3rd, because you can stack it, mill it, and then every time you soul charge this back, and that's once you play the deck, you realize that every soul charge is a Princess Sprout. So pretty much you're playing 5 Princess Sprouts, because then you'll slow charge the Hermitry's back plus one of these, then you'll just tribute it to stack it back on top of the deck to use with the Hermitry. Like I was thinking, oh Jesus, card's so good, let's play 3. Well, you're basically praying if you can't set up a stack to use with the effect. And then even then it's not that great, because that means you can't miracle. If you have a slow charge, it's fine. But I don't know how many times I've tried to miracle after tributing this when I summon it, and it's just annoying, because you can't do that. You can't summon and miracle at the same turn. Then the 1-up's playing 1 Marshall Leaf, 1 Cherub, 1 Spore. If you saw Hoban went to playing the Cherub, and that's because I don't think you can play Spore without playing Cherub. It's too good being able to search it out of the deck. And you never want to draw this guy, and you never want to draw this guy either, but it's actually not as bad drawing this guy as it is drawing the Spore, mainly because of the Sprout. And then I'm playing 1 Phoenix Cluster Amaryllis. That's because we're playing a speedy deck, and this is just a level 8. That's the only reason why I'm playing 1 of it. And 1 Rose Archer. I cut this down from 2 to 1, just because there's so much draw power in this deck. You can usually get to the 1, and if you open up 2 of these, then you probably have a brick hand. And a lot of the time, you only are going to be able to use this like when you're pushing with a plant. So like your Lone Fire opening, this probably won't do anything. It would hit a breakthrough skill, but it's not going to stop a Vanities or a Solemn Warning or anything like that. It can hit Bottomless, which is huge off your soul charges, but that's like later in the game, and you can probably get to this one. For the draw power 3 upstarts, I wasn't playing upstart in my first couple builds because if you listen to announcers at Nationals, I think they were saying, because some guy was playing Sylvans and he excavated a upstart, and the guy made the comment that, that's kind of going against what Sylvans are trying to do, but not really. Once you activate your Lone Fires, you've taken so many plants out of your deck that the only ones left in, like, every card that you draw that isn't a miracle or a soul charge is basically a neg, unless it's a plant that you need to stack your field spell, is how it plays out. So even though you really can't expect to be hitting plants unless you're stacking them with your field spell. So, I mean, you can pray and hope that you're going to hit the Hermitry stack, but even the standard builds, I mean, your trap / spell count to monster count, once you've done anything, is it goes down. Like, you'll see when you play it. We're going to talk more about it later. 3 Drayden to go with the Hermitries and the Phoenix. 3 Charity. I mean, that's just insane draw power. That's 9 cards. Then we have the 3 win conditions, as Klaus, the cheater, would say. 3 soul charge, 2 terraforming. This is important to be playing if you're playing the trade-in engine, because 2 Sylvania, 1 Foolish, 1 Archfiend's Oath. This card's pretty good, but it's kind of dangerous running more than 1. Let's see if we're still recording. Yes, we are. I think. Yeah. This is good, but it can be dangerous. If you're running Flower Knight, I think you can get away with more of these, which is what I'm probably going to be testing. If I just cut all the little ones out for Flower Knights, and I can just play more of these, but you gotta pay 500 to draw a card, if you know what the name is, or you can just, like, you can basically turn this into a 500 MST, like with the field spell, stack a mushroom, and then you can just call something else, and mill the mushroom, and pop a card. So and it stays there. That's why, theoretically, this kind of is like another upstart, because one of the main reasons Hoban says he plays upstart is because you can upstart into Charity. Well, basically you can just stack your Charity, activate this called Charity, and then this is basically going to be live for the rest of the game if they don't space it, because then you have the Charity, you're going to stack 3 cards, and then next turn you'll theoretically excavate 1, draw 1, and then you can just Archfiend's Oath, call the 3rd one. And then you can just keep stacking charities and calling charity with this, or doing whatever you want. But it's just a matter of not having that brick hand. And then the 2 of Vandies, I was playing 3, but it was, I don't know that I would say it's clogging, but you would have the Vandies where you didn't have the Felgrand / Sparklock. And 2, you just understand that this deck has so much draw power that you can get to these, to where it matters. Once you have the lock set up, you've had access to one of these. It's just, did you set it as a bluff and they MST'd it? Or did you hold it until you have the lock and then you flip it when you are able to secure it? Kind of the same way as the Rose Archer. You have so much ways to get advantage. Yeah, I mean, you can get to it. That's the main deck. The extra deck, the main difference is I'm not playing Black Rose and I'm playing the 2 big synchros, 2 Felgrand, the 3/8s, the 2 of 7s. I'm playing 2 of these because I'm siding rivalries. And the only thing that you can go into rivalry is these 3, which is annoying. So I think you have to play 2 of these if you're playing rivalry. 1 Draco, a Big Eye, the Armory Arm for the Martial Leaf play, which isn't as viable now because I'm only playing 1. That was a new change, so I left it in at the time. I still did it in the game. Scrap, the Big Guy, and did I already play this? I don't know. There was a Decisive Armor. Maybe I took it out. And the Spark. I put in the I took out the. I must have taken out the Leo for the Colossal for the mirror. I figure the deck's getting more popular and you need this for the mirror. That's that. I'm siding. I think you have to side Triple Soul Release for the Lightsworn matchup. That's your worst matchup. I've beaten everything else, it's just Lightsworn. And I suppose Albin would probably say Hat is a bad matchup, and Klaus said that as well. So, Triple Rivalry for the Hat matchup. And any anti-meta bullshit. Triple Decree, double MST. I think I'm switching this to 3 MST, 2 Decree, 2 Maxi, a Dark Hole for everything, and a Lance. And that's everything. Plays that aren't obvious. If you open in your hand a Cherub and you have the like the field spell, you're probably okay. You just have to, as long as you have the Spore in the deck, you can still reuse the Cherub. You just stack it with the the Sprout. So you know, you can just stack it later in the game and then grab your Spore whenever you want it. But if you open the Spore, then your Cherub is sort of dead. But that's really how the Cherub is a really good card, just because you can summon the Sprout off of it, then you can stack the Sprout and then get the Excavating effect to special it again. You know, you can't really. I mean, you can do it off a Soul Charge as well. But that play is it's pretty good. I really like it. If you want to draw cards, I think this is the best. I haven't gone through all of them, but if, like I said, when you go through your cards off your Lone Fire Soul Charge, like, these are all spells and traps. This is not a plant. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You're playing 16 plants. So if you Soul Charge 2 of them, or so if you have Lone Fire and you Soul Charge, you're out to 2s and you're at 14. Then if you have to stack, then you're at 13. So it's like you have like a 33% chance of hitting a plant if you don't stack. And if you do stack, and you only stack the 1 Sprout, you're probably in a bad, like, what are the odds you're going to hit with the other one? So I think your best bet is probably to go Sage Koya, Hermitry. If you don't have a Sage in your hand or something like that, you can go Sage Koya, Hermitry, and then you'll stack the Cherub, mill the Cherub, get the Sprout, so that gets you 1 draw off the Hermitry. Then you use the Hermitry, then you use the Sprout to you'll use the Sprout to stack the Cherub back on top of it, mill, excavate 1, and then stack the Cherub back on top. And you can use the second one to mill the Cherub again, and draw another card, and then summon the Spore. If you don't have the Spore in your hand, I've drawn the Spore off the Cherub mill with the Hermitry, and that sucks. And that's the worst, and that'd be really bad. But then you're guaranteed 2 draws, and then you can still make the 2. You can still go double Felgrand, or you can just save the Spore for later and just go Felgrand Spark, which is probably what I would do. Because then you have access to the level 8 whenever you need it to make a second Felgrand. So that's the deck. Having a blast playing it, I think you guys would too. It's just a really fun deck, and it's challenging. I'd say it's more challenging than Mermails was at the beginning. I'd say it's more challenging than Mermails, yeah. This card comes back in the end phase by removing a plant. And that's all you have to do. You just remove 1 plant, and then it comes back in defense. So it puts another monster on the field that they have to deal with. If they don't deal with it, then you have half a rank 8. And then it deals 800 damage, so it's like a cowboy if they destroy it. But that doesn't actually count that much. So, because you could put so much damage on the board that 800 really, it probably won't make a difference. You have to, if you don't know the Martial Leaf Armory Arm into whatever Stardust play, make sure you know that. Make sure. What else do you need to know? Make sure you're always looking for the Aurea play, the Aurea Hermitry, Jaw, whatever you stacked play. Make sure you're always looking for that. Being able to set that up to where when you soul charge late in the game and you can make an Aurea, then you can just, whatever the 2 plants you have that are available at that point, they're probably worthless. Like, you're not going to hit spells and traps with your mushrooms and your Martial Leaves, probably. They're just going to be other Hermitries or your Lone Fires, whatever, but you just set them up so that way you can add your Miracles and your soul charges to your hand. You need to be looking for those plays, so don't forget to do that. And don't set your vanities. Well, I always say don't set your vanities before you can protect it, but sometimes if you have no defense and if you set it, you can live another turn, even though it's probably going to get destroyed. And that's one thing you have to be careful of with this this Phoenix, is if you have a vanities, don't special it, because then they're just going to run this over, because it has 0 defense. So they're just going to run it over, and it'll destroy your vanities. So that's kind of the downside of this card, is you can't play it if you have vanities. And that's it. I think the easiest 2 cards to cut are going to be the Trade-ins and the Spore and Cherub. For, I might try Flower Knights and Archfiend Oaths, but then I need a consistent way to gain life points, because you can go through some serious life points drawing cards with that. And it hurts a lot, and then it'll kill your soul charges. That's the deck. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts or changes that I can take into account. Or let me know what you guys are playing. What are you guys enjoying playing? And I will talk to you guys next time. We have our first regionals in like a month, I think. But then Shadows have already dropped, and everyone's going to have to play Shadows, in my opinion, if they want to win. So it'll be kind of like Ruler format over again, but I think Shadows take less skill than Rulers did. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you guys next time. I really appreciate it. Thanks, bye.